Hey everyone, Melissa here. I am feeling a lot lighter today, and I want to share some things that have been going on. Getting used to talking on YouTube, which is great for me because when I was a kid, I used to get so nervous to go up and do like reports in school. My chin would wiggle. I mean, seriously, I would get so nervous with that. But what I want to talk about now, I'm starting to just get comfortable, and that's going to give me more strength to get through a lot of issues I want to talk about for women. Okay, so let's start with God heals. Let's start with that one. You know, we can take these programs, which are great to get the ball going, whether it's a CareNet program or I myself don't know a lot about Rachel's Vineyard or other programs, but I know when we start digging into healing, it's a rough process. And I know for me, it was years of just, being so busy with my family that, I didn't really have the time needed to really give this as much as it needed. So like I said, my testimony, my video was sharing how basically the condom broke. And let's start there because that's where the problem starts. When you have somebody who is coercing you or whatever into sex or trying to, cry and manipulate you. I remember my boyfriend, I was breaking up with him. I no longer, just in my girlhood, wanted to be going out with him anymore. Things were changing for me. I thought different things about him, and I was trying to get through this pretty much by myself. I didn't really have any guidance as a teen to help me with, what was I looking for in a guy? What did I want? So as I was working that out, I just didn't want to be with him anymore, and I didn't even have my license, so I was in his car, and we had dated for about, I don't know, it was a while, it was almost a year, and I had outgrown him, and that's all I can really say that happened. I had my peers telling me not to date him anymore, etc., etc., and so I went to break up with him, and he was crying, and for some reason, I felt like it was my job to make someone happy. I felt like it was my job to always kind of pick up the pieces and make sure everything's okay. And I took that upon myself, which I take responsibility for, of that relational part. I also, had talked to him. I said the condom did not look okay. He reassured me it was. He was a little bit older. He definitely reassured me it was fine. And I gave my better judgment up. And that's where I was really mad at mostly myself for doing that. For not listening to myself. And it's just something like I hate making mistakes because it's something that really bothers me, because if I give in to my better judgment with any kind of peer pressure or, feelings that I shouldn't have, that was really difficult for me. And I still kind of feel that sometimes today. So I gave into that, and sure enough, the condom broke. And I remember barely, it was near the end and the thing broke. I mean, something didn't feel right, and yikes. Yeah, so I was pretty mad at him for feeling tricked, feeling like he wanted me to stay with him, and therefore I felt, whether it was true or not, I felt like it was a trick. So after being pregnant, instead of being able to talk this out, having to go home and have a whole situation happen with shame and condemnation down the road. At first, I didn't even think I was pregnant, and there was other things going on in my life. I really didn't have time to think about this, in school and friends and different things going on. So yeah, then when the abortion happened, it was forced on me. I didn't even know what an abortion was. So God is healing me, and through the years, I would have things happen, like hear a vacuum, and flashbacks of the vacuum would come back, or being in the tub and having my period, and seeing, just like chunks of the period, and thinking back to that time too. And, like I shared, I had to walk home a bit after the abortion so no one would know. Then I was in gym class the next day, and it was never talked about again until I had my firstborn son, which I, again, kind of on my own, figured out the truth. And, to be able to be pregnant and feel your baby kick really was, the truth really was hitting me hard. And so what I wanted to share was 2017, I took a CareNet class, and then that was just the beginning. I mean, it really was opening up the can of worms. And so, a few years later here, I've had an opportunity in 2019 to speak at the State House. I've had opportunity in 2020 to be on the sidewalks, and now it's my channel. And just, the other day, we get spammers all the time when we're doing Instagram, and, guys hitting on you or whatever, and saying, oh, I love you so, so much, and, or whatever they want to say to try to get money or whatever from you. And, don't leave me, and, whatever it is. The thing that happened to me was, I was thinking, if God, if one person, I had nobody, if one person would have sat down with me, and especially my boyfriend, and say, you know what, I mean, I had no time alone with him. I was dragged over to his house with my mother. His mother was not there, and she kind of took the whole situation over and said the way it was going to be. But if we had had time alone, and if he would have been like, please stay, don't leave, I love you, I care about you, I love you and the baby. And if I would have had time to talk about it, and, cool down from feeling like he tricked me, and then also absorbing the anger that, that my mother had put on me, the shame, the condemnation, all that. If I had had time to sit with him and talk, I think things would have been a lot different. If I would have had one person, him, and then from there, maybe his parents or mine or somebody, just to sit with me and say, this is what pregnancy is. This is what's going to happen. All I knew was pregnancy meant, you were fat, and, coming from a lot of harsh criticism and judgmental environment, it was just something I knew, that being fat was not okay. And obviously, when you're pregnant, it's a beautiful thing. I enjoyed getting so-called fat with all my pregnancies. I loved having, kids. I loved being pregnant. It was I felt more beautiful as a woman being pregnant than I ever did in my life. I mean, I just loved it. So that was, taken away from me. The understanding that pregnancy is a beautiful thing. So I just wish I had one person, and that's what my video is about today. If you know a woman who's pregnant, or if you yourself are pregnant and you don't have anyone to talk to, it's very difficult to open up and share. I mean, you're vulnerable. You're very vulnerable, especially in a crisis pregnancy. You are as a teen girl, I mean, it can be humiliating to have to deal with this. So, I know nowadays, this is like 34, 35 years ago. Nowadays, we have so much help, and anywhere you go, you can reach out and get some help. So anyone struggling or anything with any kind of relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, relational stuff, give me a DM, and I will try to be there for you. I would love to see other women, older women helping younger women, helping them to be able to, make good choices, to just have someone to listen to, someone to talk to. And then later on, I would love to be someone to help women heal who have gone through this. And, when I think about how much God loves us, it is unbelievable to me how far He will go to show us that He loves us. And we deserve more as women. We don't deserve abortion. It's a violence. And I know there's the issue of rape, but as I thought about this again, last night I was thinking one violence on a woman does not, what's the word, justify more violence. Why would a woman who has been raped want anyone touching her again? Why would she would need some time to be able to have some support, I would think. And when you just, have another violence or almost another rape put on you, because it is a violence, it's not going to help. So I think a woman would have some time to deal with stuff as she's pregnant, and probably deal with a lot that she has to before the baby even comes. And then once she does, there's adoption if she doesn't want the baby. So I would definitely like to see more help for women. I hold doctors more responsible than I do anybody. I've spoken hearings with one of the doctors who from OBGYN in Concord, New Hampshire. It's been there and heard me testify again of how there was no informed consent. There was nothing there for me. Just took me up and, put something in me, sent me away to a restaurant, or just away, and I ended up in a restaurant dilating in the restaurant, and then in the car when a waitress realized I was not doing very well. And then to have to go up in a room and be left to just deal with the abortion on my own. All I had is one nurse who was blocking the vacuum saying it's going to be okay, and she held my hand, and I had to deal with that on my own. So one thing I will say is I think women who do heal from abortion are some of the strongest women around, because you've been so mistreated in that way that you learn to be a survivor. And that's what a lot of women are. I mean, I remember even my walk home, partway home, my whole walk changed. I remember after one person after another disappointed me and betrayed me and abandoned me and neglected me. I mean, it was just, even the ride home, I had the silent treatment. I had nobody. I remember just getting really hardened. So that just led to other decisions in my teen years that were not the best decisions. But it worked out. I mean, I was able to put it behind me pretty quick and move on with my life until it was time to be a mother. So, the body can only take so much in before, I think it's the way your body protects itself. You can only handle so much at a time. And as a kid, I mean, I really didn't understand it all. So I just went on with my life as if nothing happened, but it was in the background subconsciously, and then it was coming out once I became a mother. So yeah, I lost my place here. I was just going to say something about being a survivor. But yeah, those walls, this is what I was going to say. Those walls from being hurt will stay with you in other relationships when you are hurt. So what you want to do is be able to open up and be able to, share and realize that there really are people who love you and their heart is with you, and they may not do everything right. But if you can have people who really are good with relationships, know how to lead, know how to love you, in difficult situations, it really does make a difference in life. So yeah, and it's something God does. I mean, He just works everything out. And for me, just different situations came along in my life after CareNet where He just worked it out so that intimacy was coming with Him, and just knowing God more and how much He loves us. And this is never meant to be for a woman. Abortion's never meant to be. There are so many solutions, and complete healing is something God does when you know that there's forgiveness, and His love abounds more in His grace than anything that could ever happen to you.